Hello everyone, welcome back. In this episode, I'd like to talk about my experience with off-body carry. Now, I had to do some off-body carry this recently, and I'm just getting used to it, but just to give you an idea of what I typically carry this right here. My Bond Girl, which you see right here, Bond Girl by Bond Arms. Now it only has two shots, they're 357s. I think actually it says it right here somewhere. Yeah, let me see right. I don't know if you all can see that. Right around here. 357 Magnum, 38 specials. Now, the reason why I got this is I wanted a caliber that can stop someone with one shot, and I guess 357 Magnums have been kind of known to do that, and so. And this one, I don't even have a holster. I just carry in my pocket, literally. But I carry into my vest pocket, so it's kind of more durable. I don't carry this in my light jacket or a sweater jacket. It's just, it's heavy. It does weigh a bit. Stainless steel here. First gun, I don't even carry this with me anymore. I just literally, it's still, I just put it in the safe, empty. This is my first gun that I had ever bought for myself. Well, not this one, but this particular Rossi. Really simple, easy to learn. I just wanted to learn how to shoot. 38 specials or 357 Magnums, but I carried this with me for I would say over a year before even I got my concealed carry, because in Texas you can just have this concealed and carry it from your house to your car and from your car back to your house. Definition of how far to your car and how far from your house to your car or from anywhere is kind of unknown or undefined. But I carried with this for I would say over a year. And this is quite heavy. This is not light, and it's a particular shape and this round thing bulging. I don't have my holster with me because it's somewhere else with another gun, waiting for me to come back and get it. But every year I go to Canada, and it's up north and somewhere in the US towards Canada, so that's why I don't have my holster. Anyways, this is my first gun that I had, and this is heavy, but depending on where you put it on your body, it's not that bad. So this was my first one. Again, I carried it for a year, and got used to the weight actually. So when it's on your body, it's very different because your center of mass is kind of, depending where you put the gun, especially if you put it around your waist, it doesn't feel like a lot. Now this one, on the other hand, it feels It does feel lighter. It does feel, I don't even load this, so I know it's not a big deal. But this, compared to this, they're both unloaded. But even if I did load, this, I think it's missing one round. But the reason why I know is because that one round is in my pocket. So I haven't had a chance to put it in, but probably won't. Maybe I'll need that one round with me. So anyways, now they're almost about the same. They feel almost about the same. I would still say this is slightly lighter. Maybe that one round makes a difference anyways. Okay. Anyways, this is my SD9VE. So SD9VE. Anyways, this one, it's definitely a little bit lighter and almost as big. Almost as big. If you kind of, let's compare that up. Almost as big. So the holster I got for it worked for both of these guns, and that was awesome. That's why I liked using it so much. These were the two guns that I always carried on my body. And so the nice thing about on body is I can carry these kind of larger guns that, especially this type or a Glock style, where there is no safety here. So there is no safety, you know, and it is a larger gun, and so this is what I like to have on my body, like literally just here. Actually, I like to here on my left side, the way I have my holster. Same thing with this. I like to cross because I always have it in front of me when I have my belt and holster. Anyways, that's just my preference. But these were the two guns that I'm used to having. Now I don't have a holster. It's not the holster, it's the belt. It's a belt that I found, and I've gotten really used to that belt, and the holster too, because it works with both of my two original guns. So eventually I gotta go get it, but I don't have it now, so it's forcing me to do off body. So with the exception of this gun, which doesn't require for me anyway, on a certain particular apparel I wear, I just put it in my pocket. Typically what I do is I'll have a towel, like a small face towel folded, and I'll wrap it here so it doesn't damage the gun really, and also doesn't leave an imprint. So, and it is on safety. This is a really safe gun. The trigger doesn't work. It's on safety, and you need to pull the hammer in order to engage the trigger, which it's not. But if you want to know, yes, they are loaded 357 Magnums. One of the reasons why I got This particular one was because it is stopping power. It will stop, good potential to stop somebody with one shot. So those are gains. I still carry this with me, not without a holster, so I still use this. These two I've more or less off-body carry. This one, it stays in the safe. I haven't even used any of this yet. And then finally, got a lot of stuff in there, sorry. Oh my goodness, running out of space here. I should do it the other way. All right. Anyways, I put the revolvers, kind of revolvers, and the pistols. And then I got the 22, the Walter P22. Let me wipe this down, spread some little oil on it. The Walther P22, and this is also loaded with 22s. But this one I don't chamber because I don't have a holster for it. Obviously this one's way smaller than, well, it's not way smaller, but obviously it's, you know, it's not the same size. And I don't think the holster I have is gonna, it's a little too big for this. So I haven't had a chance to get a holster on this, but I've been using this as an off-body, putting it in the bag. And I don't chamber this because of that. And obviously when you saw me pull it out, I have a lot of things in there. So that's another reason why I don't chamber this, because it's an off-body. And also it does have a safety, unlike this does have a safety. It's right here, but you need a key to turn it, so I never did, so it was never on safety. The finger was my safety, not being on it. Or else this is a little different. It has it has a lot of safety features on it, but this is the one I don't chamber, and this is, for the most part, has been an off-body. And reason being because it has a lot of, the way I carry it has a lot of things. It also carries my other things as well. So that's a difference that I've noticed on off-body and on-body carry that I've been doing. When it's on me, like when this is on me, it's loaded and one in the chamber, because it's literally on me. I'm going to put it right here. This is where usually where it is, and I like to have it in front of me just in case, just make sure no one's you know, I have this concealed, but I don't want people to grab, if they're trying to grab my gun, at least I have a chance of stopping them. So this is on me and is ready to go. So is this. Same thing with this here. This is single action, double action revolver. And so when it's right here, I'm just gonna, in the double, at the single action, it's, I guess I can try fire. There's nothing in here, nothing wrong with dry firing a revolver. takes a little bit more to do the single action versus double action here. This is the double action. So anyways, so these are always, obviously the revolver's always loaded. This one's a little different, has a lot of safety features. Only 2 shots, but it never, of course, you know the reason why it's only 2 shots, because, not because there's 2 rounds in here, it's because at the, I think when I flip it over, it's the top one here, the round, I don't know why it gets tight in there and it won't come out, so literally you only have 2 shots. So it's a little different than that. And this one, of course, it's pistol style. It's a lot bigger than the 22, as you can see that hole. So, but again, this is a kind of a very similar style to Glock. There's no safety. Trigger's the trigger, and that's it. So this is one I want to always have on a on-body carry. I would not take this and put it in a bag, put it in this bag like I've been doing with this, because again, there's no safety. And I guess you could, because I wouldn't have it chambered, but this is a harder pull than this. This is very easy to do. You can actually even do it quietly. Versus this, which is feels like a bigger spring. So it takes quite a bit of effort to pull that, and you could quietly do it, but it's quite a pull, and it's a lot bigger. But the weight wise, oh yeah, this is lighter, obviously, smaller. It's got the same polymer bottom, just the top is more bigger. So so this is the gun I usually use for off-body carry. The more I feel like larger caliber would be more of an on-body carry. Just my opinion. Just my opinion on that. So anyways, let me put the rest of this stuff away. Of course, I'm doing off-body carry on that pistol right now, but in place of that, I'm often using either this, or right now I'm just taking the bag, so I'm not needing all this on me because I'm doing off-body carry. Now, interesting things about when you get into firearms is that you realize not one firearm covers everything. There's, you know, each one has its uses for a particular situation depending on who you are and what your preferences are. what you want to do with this. So my particular preference on an off-body carry is to something like this that's light, because when you carry it off-body, it seems heavier versus than being like on your body. You know, when it's right here, when it's at a center of gravity on you, it doesn't feel like much, but all of a sudden you take this and it's do this all day, it tends to, you know, weigh on you after a while. So light as you can would be awesome, because when you carry things, it's going to weigh on you externally versus being at the center of gravity, in my opinion, just from my experience. And so because it has a lot of the safety 12-pound trigger, and it's not chambered, just to make sure. So it's not chambered. And so it's also on safety. So this is something I feel like I can carry off body. Now, the way I'm carrying off body is with this right now. I know it's large because it's housing my other pistol. My AR-15 pistol, 7.5 inch barrel. So obviously this is something you cannot, or well, I wouldn't say cannot, but it's difficult to carry on you or conceal on you. It's just so big. So so this is what I carry off body, and it's not because I can't, well, it's because I can't carry it on body. It's kind of hard to, it just, because here's my shoulder, and then here's my arm, and it kind of comes down. So this thing kind of bulges out. The handle's quite, the buffer tube mainly. If it didn't have the buffer tube, then I could kind of see, but the buffer tube is needed. It's an integral part of how it works, so that's out of the question. I got the 10-round mag. Does work wonderfully. Right here, when I was shooting it, I'm able to just, the mag well becomes my vertical grip, and I put my thumb right in here. See if it's gonna seat. Okay, it seats. Okay. So I grab right here, have my pinky underneath it so it holds it up, and I really got a nice grip on this to the point where all I have to do is just grab on this and just pull the trigger. But even then, that's still a little wobbly. What you really need is the cheek rest. if you got a third point, that's what really stabilizes it. Putting it right on the cheek, and you know, just getting that nice steady just getting it nice and steady to pull the trigger, and yeah, it feels really accurate, and it is. It's really accurate. It's going to be more accurate than any of your usual, you know, 4-inch or less, even 5-inch barrels, because this is 7.5-inch, a little bit more. And you're holding it. You're not holding it like this. You're going to be obviously the way I've decided is make the magwell like a forward grip, and then even that can work, but the cheek weld, putting your cheek right up on here, the only part is the kickback. It does kind of annoy your, it is a little annoying once in a while, because it just rubs up against your cheek, but you know, you have to have it done that way if you want it to be a pistol. Otherwise you need a buttstock. So this is the reason why I'm off-body carrying, and it's almost like just carrying a rifle for the most part, and so it kind of, I guess, would be a great point from learning how to carry long rifles with you in a, obviously, a rifle bag. But what other things can you come up with? Because I came up with the Babolat racket to conceal, and I think it works wonderfully. It works wonderfully. I'm very happy with it. So, and again, I like to the carry conceal on this is off body as far as I'm concerned. I think it's very safe. It has a safety. I've already charged the handle, so even if it was off safety, it's not even, nothing's even chambered. Even if it was off safety, the hammer won't go because the bolt carrier is blocking the way of the hammer, so it can't even engage the trigger. And also it's not even chambered. Oh, you can't even see it. There you go. It's not even chambered, but it is charged to chamber, and it doesn't take much just to push a button and it'll go. And I think that's a good way of not chambered, loaded but not chambered, for carry, off-body carry. I think it's probably a little bit safer, especially if you're just being prepared. You know, it's not like anything's going to happen. If you knew something was going to happen, then yeah, sure, have one in the chamber ready. But most of the time, I don't think any of us isn't going to know. But the way I got it worked out is it's charged. Dust cover is closed, so nothing will get in there, but it will just open. So it's magazine's already in there, right? And I think that'll work. That's as closest to ready you're ever gonna get, I guess. and it seats well when it's charged back versus having it already, the bulk carrier already in there. If you want that, I guess some of you, if you want that one round plus the full magazine, you get that extra one round in, but it's kind of hard to seat, just in my opinion, when it's full and you got the bolt carrier and already in there. But it's possible. I just find it easier that when it's not there, to do that. Just close the dust cover. Anyways, so this is the main reason why I off-body carry. And you get some other good stuff, like you do carry some tennis balls with you. And you actually do have a tennis racket with you, just in case you want to play tennis. Get some good exercise. Okay. Anyways, there you go. Kind of just sits up that way. But there are some advantages to on-body carry. You get to carry more things, and the reason why you want to carry more things is because you're not carrying it on your body anymore. You're taking it off your body, or you're lightening your body and putting into a separate case. And the reason is because I think weather, I'm in Houston, so it's summertime, and it's starting to, well, it's springtime, but it's already starting to feel like summertime. And so I'm not going to be wearing my pants. I'm not going to wear a long jacket. I'm probably going to wear a vest that has pockets. But even then, having that weight on you all the time, sometimes you don't wish it was on you, but a little off of you, that you can manage the weight a little bit better. So, and you can carry more things too when you do off-body and carrying things like this. I haven't done any smaller ones for the smaller firearms like this, because usually I'll just wear different apparel. So I'm going to put this back. So anyways, oh, I forgot something. So it's basically it's basically summertime now, and a lot of people are being more active. So you get to also, if you have a hobby or if you want to find a new hobby, uh, finding interesting ways to carry your firearms with you is a good way to do it. You can do that and carry your gun with you. Um, I can play tennis and go to the range, combine something I like doing with something that I have done that maybe I can get back into for physical conditioning, physical training, so to speak. So, um, as far as off-body carrying, it's kind of nice because as I travel in my car and I have it set up in a way that's just in my front seat, seat belted and everything, I can move around a lot. When I was driving around with the firearm on me, it gets a little uncomfortable. Matter of fact, it gets a little comfortable even more after it gets a little uncomfortable. And so it just wears on you all day, and you get it gets it's hard to explain. It gets annoying. I guess there's no other way to explain it. It just gets annoying. And so doing an off body is obviously you still want your firearm with you, but you don't want that annoying feeling around your waist or on your side or when you're driving and stuff like that. Or you can go to a lighter gun or smaller gun. But in the end, you know, when I do off body, there are certain challenges as well. What I like about it is you can lighten your personal load, especially when you get in the car and whatnot as you travel. And when you sit down, you can just have it next to you. Obviously, when you have something like, and this is kind of the reason why I like a bigger setup, is something like this. It's hard to leave behind. You got a lot of things in here. So, you know, is it possible you can? Yeah, but how far are you gonna leave before you go back for it? So, the drawback is when you do off-body carry like this setup here, which is pretty big. It's the size of from my shoulder to my arm, a little bit more than that because that's how big the AR is. Basically tennis racket size, if you want to imagine that. You can't just put it down anywhere and go somewhere. It's not your textbook, not your backpack kind of thing. But the nice thing is you have to take it with you. It's possible you can take it with you, and I have. It becomes another nuisance in that way, but you kind of give up one thing to only sacrifice another thing. Can I ever go back to not carrying? Man, that's tough. Once you start carrying, and once you start getting into firearms and stuff like that, it's hard. It's hard for me anyway. If anything, I've started to expand on it a lot, as you've seen through my videos. Other than that, it really becomes well, you just can't go back. You can never. It's hard for me to go out there unarmed. It feels weird. It feels strange. I have gone out there. Usually those are days I feel like today's a pretty safe day. Enough for me to go out there without a gun. But for the most part, you really have to know the difference, owning a gun and not owning a gun, what it feels like. And I've done both. And now that I've owned a gun, I can't imagine life without it. So, anyways, this is my experience with off-body carry. There is it does sometimes feel like a ball and chain, but at the same time, it does allow you to do more things. It's taking carry to the next step, I guess you can say, because the bag not only carries your firearm, but it could also carry other things like the tennis racket. That's my cover, but it is summertime. I can play tennis. The side bag really makes a big difference because it has my water, has my stuff for my phone, sometimes even has my smartphone in here, as well as some pins and markers that I also use at the range, but I can also use obviously in real life. And then other simple tools like the flathead, which is a different handle shape. And then the Phillips, which is a different handle shape. Another thing, I mean, this is also a self-defense weapon, so to speak. Non-deadly, but forceful weapon. And of course, it carries my headphone, my towel, my shorts, my 2 other starter packs. So it does help, depending on how you adapt to your life. This is essentially became my briefcase, and I get to do a lot of other things and be outside more, and also feel safe, and also if I wanted to play tennis, I could play tennis. If I want to go out to the range for shooting, I can go out to the range for shooting. And everyday carry bag. So anyways, just want to share that. Feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment, or even do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned.